hey, come along with me. Let's go together and look at the financial life of a woman named Dijana. And as she shares her financial picture with us, I'm going to jump in every minute or so and comment. And what I'd like you to do along with me is at the end, I'm going to assign her a letter grade on her finances, A, B, C, D, or F. And you assign a letter grade as well. We'll grade her by the end. I'm Keith Weinhold. This is Get Rich Education with credit to CNBC's Millennial Money. Let's do this together.
Coming from a family that's a family of immigrants, where we were 3 families in a one-bedroom in Brooklyn, I didn't learn about money growing up. My experience with money was seeing my family hustle, and now everyone's doing really well. Hi, my name is Dijana Lieva. I'm 34. I make $150,000 a year, and I live in Manhattan, New York City. I started my agency after getting laid off from a corporate job. I've been pretty fortunate. It really ranges when you're freelancing and working for yourself. I mean, I would say my biggest expense every month is my rent. I do have health insurance. I pay about $400 a month for it. But even with that $400, you know, prescriptions are a ton, but you just have to have health insurance, especially when you're in your mid-30s.
All right, so Dijana is age 34. She makes $150,000 in Manhattan, New York City. She's from an immigrant family, and she runs her own brand consulting agency. Did you notice something about the way she spends her money? How much is she eating? $200 a month on groceries? Hopefully she's like eating out too, but I didn't see that on there because my goodness, that's less than $7 a day. What's she doing? Eating like a chickadee? She's not going to survive long enough for us to finish this video together. But anyway, $2,400 in rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan. Actually, that's not too bad. If you look at that as a proportion of her income, she makes $12,500 a month. So therefore, that's just 19% of her income. Okay, so with this $12,500 of monthly income, that's what $150K per year comes down to. You got to understand that there is, of course, federal tax in there, and New York State's income tax is going to be about 6% or so at her income threshold and some other taxes. So her take home might only be close to half, $6,250. She spends $4,100. So therefore, she'd have about 1/3 of that amount left over for investments or saving or whatever else. And I like that she has a line for donations in there. All right, so let's move along with Dijana's financial picture here.
Challenges of having your own agency, there's so many. One, just being used to that Friday direct deposit, having to really know where every single dollar is coming from. Another challenge is just money management for me, putting aside money to pay your taxes every year, and also just knowing your worth. I think that was something that I learned a lot. You know, you start doing designs for like $200-300, and then you realize there's people that are doing this for hedge funds that are charging like $100,000 just for a logo.
I like how Dijana talks about knowing your worth. I mean, she is with a branding agency. If she can get connected with a deep pockets client, she may not have to do much more work than she's doing now and get paid 10x. So I do sense some potential for more earning here. I didn't understand what that was that she said about a Friday direct deposit. I don't know what she meant, but let's move on.
My experience with crypto, I have to thank my little brother, Yeton. He was on it very early on, and he told me to invest in Bitcoin a couple of years ago when it was about $1,000, maybe a little less, and I liquidated at $19,000. He called me and said, "Get out." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "You will never see a return on anything like this in your life again." Putting a little bit of money into it, you know, here and there, and kind of having a very diverse portfolio.
Bought Bitcoin at 1K and sold at 19K. That's some pretty good timing. A lot of times you don't have the good fortune of buying and selling at just the right time like that. When something's run up to 19K, it's actually really hard to sell it because you justify that with the emotion of momentum. But apparently with her brother's help, she did time this. just right. You know, something like Bitcoin, for the most part, that's a lot like trading baseball cards. You're mostly betting on the value of it going up or going down, and there really isn't any other way to profit from it rather than buying and selling at the same time. I still haven't heard anything about passive income from Dijana. We'll see if we get it. And you know, actually you can create a little bit of passive income with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. There are a few ways to do it at basically these crypto banks that pay you a yield, and some of them even pay out weekly. You got to be careful. Some of these crypto banks, they'll say that they'll pay you like 6% interest on the first quarter of a Bitcoin, and then on every Bitcoin that you own after that, they'll only pay you like 0.5% interest or something like that. So you've got to read the fine print. But one bank, Celsius, they give you 3% interest currently on your entire balance of Bitcoin, for example, over there at Celsius. So that's a way to generate a little passive income from your Bitcoin. Hey, go ahead and put a like on this if you like what we're doing. If we're breaking down someone's financial picture, I hope you're evaluating what kind of grade you might give Dijana. I would really appreciate having the like. Hey, we'll kind of call that the cost of admission, right? It's free to watch this video and participate in this, so I'd really appreciate the cost of admission, the like.
I have a 401k, I have a retirement plan. Throughout college, I actually worked at Safeway for 5 years when they were union and the #2 company to work for behind Starbucks. So that's all been building since then, and every time I have taken a corporate job, whether it's been for a little bit or been on my own, I'm always putting into that fund. If I do an event and I bring in 20 grand from it, obviously I'll put aside a portion of that, and then there's months where I'm not putting anything aside.
Okay, so she saves 10% of her monthly income. 5% of her income, it sounds like, is used toward a retirement fund. Yeah, I'm not sure what the retirement fund is now that she owns her own business. But in the past, maybe she contributed up to a 5% amount and that got a 1-to-1 employer match. That might be worth doing up to that point. That's like a 100% return right there. In general, I think from watching my other media, I actually don't like retirement plans in general very much at all. They're illiquid. You typically have to pay taxes on them at the time that you do retire. And by the time you adjust your return for inflation and fees and volatility, the returns typically aren't that good. But the big deal is that they're life deferral plans. You don't get access to those funds until you're age 60 or 70 or 80. How do you know you'll ever get to that age? And also, how mobile, how healthy are you even going to be? I say that retirement plans are really like life deferral plans more than they are tax deferral plans. Let's go on and watch more.
I was just so fortunate to be a hustler, like finding ways to save on everything. I do go to a very expensive gym and provide them liquor for their monthly mixers, and I'm fortunate enough to get a comp membership there. And I think just that hustle growing up here in New York and coming from a family that's a family of immigrants, all of that was instilled in me at such a young age, and really preparing yourself. Right now, we are going to see Kristen, who is my partner in #Lunchbag, because we have a meeting about this weekend's event. You make sandwiches, we distribute them to the homeless. We started with just making 100, now we're making almost 1,000 every month. It's just nice to be able to do something that can put a smile on someone's face that we take for granted.
All right, well, she works out at a gym. That's good. She's staying fit. Hey, I saw that photo of her and DJ Khaled in there together. That was pretty cool. I'm kind of impressed with Dijana. She runs the New York City chapter of Making Lunches for Homeless People. If you look at the amount that she's donating beyond just the time and organizing this, that's 2 to 3% of her pre-tax income that go toward donations. So she's making herself likable. I feel some heart and soul from this person here to give beyond herself. I'm kind of impressed.
Every dollar I spend, I think of how I can make like $3 to cover it, and that's always in my head. I buy a purse for $200 and I'm like, where am I gonna make $500 tomorrow? My goal is to retire by 40. I always say if you live in Manhattan, you have to hate yourself a little bit. It's not easy to live here. So I'm really working up to taking everything I made here and enjoying the rest of my life somewhere else. So I never felt like I was great with money, and the more I talk about it, the more I realize you hear where you can do better and where you can spend less. The fact that I am debt-free and live alone in New York, I've been pretty good with money the last couple of years.
All right, as she buys a $200 purse, she thinks, how can I make $500 tomorrow? I guess that's not too bad. Really, you want to produce first and then consume, right? You want to be able to make the $500 and then go out and reward yourself and get the purse. But I still kind of understand her mindset. She's generally thinking about this the right way. One thing that's bothersome here is she says something like, to live in Manhattan, you have to hate yourself a little bit, and that it's not easy to live here. Oh gosh, I mean, you can't go through life like disliking a big part of your life. You only get one life. She says she's debt-free. I'm pretty sure she means consumer debt-free by saying that. It's not bad to be consumer debt-free. And she lives alone in New York with a goal to retire by 40. At least she's got that goal. It sounds like it's possible for her. All right, well, it's about time to grade Dijana here. What grade do you think she should get? An A, a B, a C, a D, or an F? Based on her financial life, she's making $150K, which isn't a great amount to make in Manhattan, New York City, but she's clearly financially independent. She's given back. She matters. In fact, I give her a grade of B. She doesn't seem to say anything about passive income. That's sort of the knock against her, but you know, she kind of matters in this world. She's a difference maker and providing lunches for the homeless. Like, I just can't say enough good things about that. So that's why I give her a grade of B. What grade did you give her? Go ahead and comment. I'd like to know, and why. Hey, go ahead and put a like on this. If you like these reaction type videos, I sure will do more of them. But yeah, go ahead and leave a comment. Leave what grade you would give her and why. Maybe you have some comments or grades other than me. I'm Keith Weinhold. Thanks for being here, but you weren't here for me. You were here for you. We'll see you in the next video.